I built Koopa Beach from Mario Kart in Fortnite. This week has been really exciting for the Fortnite creative community as we finally got cars in creative mode. With the new addition of this awesome device, I felt like it would be awesome to recreate the best racing map in history. I love Mario Kart. In my opinion, it's the best racing game of all time. And my favorite course from the Mario Kart series is Koopa Troopa Beach from Mario Kart 64. It's the perfect size, it has awesome shortcuts, and it's just a really fun, well-designed map. So why not recreate it in Fortnite, right? Many of you have watched me making this week on my different streams, and a whole bunch of you helped me test it out the other day, and it was so fun. So in this video, I'm gonna show you the speed build of me building out the island, but then on top of that, there are a lot of mechanics that go behind making this whole map work properly. I made a video earlier this week with some advanced mechanics for racing maps, but there was a few things I left out of there that are crucial to making a map like this work. So after showing you the speed build of the island, I'm gonna go over 3 really important mechanics that make this map work. If you're gonna build a racing map too, or you just wanna know how it all works together, make sure you watch the whole video. I've left the code for this map in the description below, and once you load in and you don't have anyone to play with, make sure you're matchmaking with others and go on and play today. I hope you have fun, enjoy the video. The first thing I did was set up a template that would act as the inside wall of the track, and this is what I would use to copy and paste all over the map. I wanted to make sure it was gonna look cool before I built out the entire thing, and I felt like it did. Then I outlined where the actual track would be so that I wouldn't just be copying and pasting blindly my wall all over the map. It really helps speed things up and give you a visual aid as you're placing things down. Then it was time to actually build the entire island. It was a combination of copying and pasting the walls and placing the sand floor pieces so that it looked good. Now, these outside corners were really challenging. The biggest issue is filling in all of the holes where the sand needs to be, and it was quite the challenge to figure out how to slope it down into the water as well as making the curve, all the while trying to make it seamless so that you don't see cracks in the sand. I'm just gonna say, guys, it was a challenge. I had to place rocks and different things down to cover up all of the mistakes I had in the terrain, but it ended up actually looking cooler, I think. But once I had one corner done, it was easy to copy and paste over on the other corners, which really sped the build up. Then it was taking on the big bay area. Doing curves that are curving inside is way easier than doing curves curving outside, so this actually didn't take that much time. I was really nervous about this big outside turn, which is basically a 180, and I didn't know how to do this, but I decided to actually build an outside cliff as opposed to having it dip down into the water. And while that's not just like the original Koopa Troopa map, it was the only thing I could do to really speed up this build. And honestly, I really liked how it turned out. The rest of the map was pretty easy, just to copy and paste what I'd already done, and then it was just down to detailing, and man, it really turned out nice. Okay, now I'm gonna show you all the crazy mechanics I had to come up with to make this work properly. One of the major mechanics I had to come up with was figuring out how to make the number of cars that spawned in correspond with the number of people that were playing. Because it's easy to put down 8 pads and just have cars there. But then if there was only 3 people racing, then there would be 5 cars just sitting right there in the middle of the racetrack. Let me show you how I did this. It's kind of complex. So first I had to have an island start area, so I put the yacht out here so that they could look at the island. And then I have the player spawn pad. The player spawn pad assigns someone to a team, so team number 1, and then I had to make sure this said use as island start, and then when the player spawns, transmit on channel 1. So when they spawn in, that triggers this trigger, and it also triggers the player 1 car. So here's the player 1 car, so you can see right here I've placed the owning team as 1, but this plate is not enabled at the beginning of the game, so no car will spawn here unless it's triggered by something, and I have it enabling when receiving from channel 1. So when the player spawns in over here and triggers this just by existing, it spawns a car over there, but I can't instantly assign that car to this player, so I need to have a little delay on it. So I have this trigger here triggering when it receives from the first channel, so when they spawn in, and then I have a 5-second delay on this trigger, and then this trigger is also triggering channel 2. So channel 2 triggers the assignment of the car. So after 5 seconds, the driver is assigned to this car, and so that person will warp into this car right here here that is now enabled. Whoo, guys, I know that's complex, but I hope that makes sense what I'm trying to do here. And then I just duplicated that for each of the different players. This is player 2's triggers, and I've done this whole same process, but on different channels for that individual player. So then when 8 players come in, they're assigned to a car, and I also have this little HUD message that plays right at the beginning of every round that says assigning cars. Let me just show you how it works. I drop in, it says assigning cars, and then I'm assigned my car right here after a few seconds, and then the countdown begins, and we're off to the races. The next mechanic is pretty simple, but some people have been asking how to do laps in a race. So it's all about these checkpoints. So you'll see here I have a bunch of checkpoints right next to each other, and this first checkpoint right here is the start. If I go into the settings, you'll see it's just checkpoint 1. Well, so if this is checkpoint 1, I have checkpoint 2 over here, right here at the front, and then checkpoint 3 is gonna be over there. This way the player has to cross checkpoint 1, then 2, then 3, and then 4 in order to complete a full lap, and then it activates checkpoint 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, right? So it's all about placing those checkpoints. Now, the checkpoints will all like kind of appear at the beginning of the race. Currently, I don't think there's a way to make them only appear as the next one, but hopefully that comes down the line. But this brings up my next mechanic that I had to come up with, was giving people a score. So the way this race is won is by getting the highest score of checkpoints. So every time someone passes a checkpoint, it gives them a point. So the winner's gonna get 11 points for winning a race, and then anyone else who's behind will get less points. And then there's gonna be 3 rounds. So all I needed to do to set this up was set up score managers for each player. So this is what it looks like. You come in and set the score value to 1, and the activating team is team number 1 on this one, and that's team number 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on. Then I have it activate when receiving from channel 148, and then I've made it so every single one of these checkpoints transmits on channel 148 when it's crossed. That way, every player is getting a point every time they cross a checkpoint. So those are the 2 main mechanics that I set up that I think are gonna be really helpful for you as you make your racing maps. And then after I set everything up, it's all about testing, and I got to test with you guys, and it was a blast. And honestly, guys, after this experience, I feel like I'm gonna test most of my maps on stream because we found all sorts of problems. I was falling through the map. If player 1 dropped out, we were all stuck at the very beginning, and a whole bunch of other issues. And also, you guys just gave me some really great ideas on how to improve the map. So thank you guys for helping me build this awesome map. Here's the code, it's also in the description below. Have fun and good racing.